All right, so I'm going to put together a little mobility flow. So we'll start with, you can actually be in this position, but we'll go from the side and just working on dorsiflexion of the ankles, but then also big toe extension. Biggest thing is I want you to pinch your heels together. So just getting into this position, when you pinch the heels together, you should feel more of a stretch up into the Achilles too. You might find that on that inside line. And just trying to rest into this position, sit into it. If you need to offload it a little bit, you can put some pressure into your hands. But I could tell, like on me, my right side needs a lot more than my left on there. So maybe spend, 30 seconds or so in there. If you need to back off and then sit back into it, that's okay. You can do some just little gentle rocking, nothing too painful in there. So 30 seconds there, then we'll try to then come out of that. Try to get the feet to lay flat, and then eventually trying to sit back on there. So then going into this and just getting now down the front of the shins. You can even lean into it more if you can, into this position. You might start to feel it into the quads and front of the legs. Move into this, maybe 30 seconds. From there, we're gonna then go into that 90-90. So make sure we're out far enough that we're not in closer than 90. Out into 90 and just lean into one side if we can. Then we can get up, switch to that other side, lean into the other side. Spend maybe a minute here working on trying to get and settle in, work on that breath down into the tight areas. From here, we can then try to get up into a leaning position. So you will get a pull and a stretch into the groin. And you can even then just switch into a half kneel. When you get into the half kneel though, I want you to think about tucking the pelvis under and leaning forward. All right, so 90-90, then switch into a 90-90 here. Reaching up, now we're gonna get front of the leg and side and work into that. So say another 20-30 seconds. You can play around with rotation depending on where you feel it. You can come through and try to open. So this hand is pushing into the knee and opening up, and then also tucking under and feeling that pull. So then switch sides, tuck under, reach and open, reach and side bend. So go through a few of those on each side, or just different ranges here, like this, up, rotation is what I meant by a few. All right, then from here we can get into a lunge position. So you're gonna go into a lunge, inside arm with the leg down, and then reach up towards the ceiling. So we're getting some trunk rotation, and then you can try to get down into a stretch to get more through the groin, but back up, rotate, then go into a plank position and switch to the other side and rotate. You can even switch and rotate the other direction. So you can do both ways. Then from here, go back into that plank and go into downward dog. Just stretch down the back of the legs. From there, you can come back up into that lunge, but we're gonna turn into the middle here. So it's like you're a straddle position, and all I want you to do is try to lean towards one side. So now we're getting a groin stretch if I were to switch directions for you. So you're here, and I want you just trying to lean down, eventually getting down into here, but that will be goals. All right, so starting and just getting to here, and then switching to the other side, trying to keep this heel down. You can lift that other foot up. If you pull the toes towards you, you feel even more of a stretch down the back of your leg and through this whole leg here. All right, so maybe a couple times on each side, pull those toes up, get a bigger stretch. To the other side, in there. From here, now that we got kind of hips open, worked on groin, worked on quad a little bit, let's move to trunk. So now we can get into side lying here and just start with some open books. And you can always hug this leg down more. Get that rotation. When you get all the way open, take a couple big breaths. Try to breathe into that low back. From here, we can simply start to do some windmills. So all the way down, trying to keep the hand down, bring that arm all the way down. So if I were to switch directions for you, from here, windmill all the way around, and there. So working on warming up the shoulder, getting some trunk rotation in there. Where you find it's tight, hang out in those positions. So for me, it's right around here. You can even try to bend the elbow if that's more of a stretch. Just take a big breath in on the exhale, let it relax. All right, then we can switch sides again. Same thing. So start with just some open books. This side's a little tighter for me. Open books, and then some windmills. Good. From there, once we've done that, we can get in quadruped here. If you want to just do a little rocking, so lift the knees up and then you're just rocking back and forth. This is kind of recruit the core, work on some stabilizers. There, we can get in and do just a little core activation, bird dogs here. Opposite side. We can get in and do some lat stretch, so then get down into prayer, child's pose. Get here, but then I want you to crawl your hands out to the side. Feel that stretch along the outside. Breathe into that rib cage. Maybe take 2, 3, 4 breaths there. Then switch to the other side. Then we can move into here and back, come down, all the way up, down, all the way up, switch sides, up, and up. And then from there, if you want to move on to doing any kind of just simple wrist, flexion, extension stretches, just get in. And this would be a good spot now to add in just some of the Tom House warm-ups, getting in there, doing some push-pull on both of those, forward, backwards, shoulders, and then maybe end with the arm circles. All right, so you get a good burn into the arms, and then you can also add in with a club, or if you still have the red twisty TheraBand, you can add in just some strengthening for the wrists and just mobility in there. So going through, just waking everything up. Remember, throughout all of it, breathe into the areas that feel tight, and just focus on your breath with it, and spend a little bit more time on those areas that feel a little sticky. And if you have any questions, shoot me a message.